Well, this is the first time I'm doing this. Haven't I haven't done any of this before, so we'll see. We'll see what happens. Trying to get more awareness out there, but um, the purpose of this live is I don't know how to just do a video. Not super tech savvy, but hopefully this live can be saved in my drafts or saved uh, in my videos so that I could share it on other platforms. But on TikTok, there was a um, creator who said, "What can you give a 40-minute, speech or 40-minute ramble on without any notes or anything like that?" And I said 9/11 being an inside job. And one of my comments that I got was that someone said do a YouTube. So I'm gonna try it, see where it can go. Um, I have a friend, Chris, who he and I were going to do this uh, probably for a living. Like we had an idea, we never put pen to paper, and we never sat down to hash it out more. Other than our idea was to sit here and talk about the Bilderberg Group, the Council on Foreign Relations, the Trilateral Commission, 322, Skull and Bones, Illuminati, the Secret Society, the Jesuits, Knights Templar, basically angels and demons, and Da Vinci Code. Coincidentally, from 1999 until now, going through 23 years, 24 years of shadow government knowledge, you sit here and you just kind of beef up the juggernaut that you can never really get it's like the tip of the iceberg. And I've seen I've seen it even a couple of TikToks, but I've seen it on Facebook as well, where you see this big iceberg, and the iceberg says like stuff that's conspiracy theories that a normal amount of people know and have heard of, and dismiss because they're crazy. But yet, as you go deeper and deeper down, there's like underneath the water is like a plethora of more and more and more shadowed things that are kept hidden from us. Um, because that old saying, like the average person, um, is smart, but collectively we're dumb. So we wouldn't be able to, collectively to be able to handle that, because you would get idiots who would scream and curse and froth at the mouth and just, storm the castle gates and all that. Like I do create a source of you know I want to say, what is the word I'm trying to say, but you want to create an urgency of knowledge that you have and try to get it out there. Try to get people to logically listen to reason and not really put your political point in their face to say that I'm right, you're wrong, but have a generalized conversation about it. To have a generalized topic, um, loosely, like 9/11 was an inside job, and stating my facts behind it, where I think that it was, um, why that was an inside job and why it happened. Um, you go to the day before 9/10 of 2001, Donald Rumsfeld went on live television and said, "Oh, by the way, $2.34 trillion is lost. We can't account for it because they have to tell you what they're up to, whether it's in the movies, in music, on the news, whether we believe it's a conspiracy or throw it up now in 2022, fake news and cancel culture, all saying, fake news, let's cancel this person, all because you disagree with someone's ideology or stance on what they think is true. Instead of arguing and having point for point dialogue and saying you're wrong, you're wrong, you're wrong before you're even wanting to sit down and have a discussion, I think is ludicrous. It's crazy to me. But just the day before saying that $2.34 trillion was missing, and that was it. And the reason why that 9/11 happened, one of my reasons, is that the receipts of that $2.34 trillion being missing was accounted for, and they realized, oh shit, well, that was in the World Trade Center. So let's go ahead and just take care of it, and we'll say that it was Osama bin Laden because we need to go over there and occupy Afghanistan for the poppy seeds to make our heroin. And then because my Daddy Bush, was the war on drugs, and he started that. Unbeknownst to Reagan, Reagan wasn't really wanting to be a part of that war on drugs because it was defeating the purpose. War on what? Like, you guys, the CIA, were the ones to put the drugs in all the slums because they don't want the indigenous people, the Moors, the Indians, Native Americans, whatever you want to call them, the Mexicans, the Puerto Ricans, like basically people that were already here before the Anglo-Saxons came over here from Spain and Europe and tried to conquer, this land. You can get into so many other topics of it being Pangea and it being one land, and they were on the farthest side of Europe, not really Spain, but the farthest side of Europe, and they just kind of drifted over to here, to the either the Florida Panhandle or like the Carolinas. But getting back on topic with the 9/11, I sometimes ramble off topic, but it's all gonna come together. But you start the I don't want to even say conspiracy, but you keep stating, hey, look over here. Don't look over here. Look right here. Here, look at all the new Marvel movies. Look at all the new shiny toys that you can have. Look at all the iPhones I'm gonna give you. Look at all the new stuff. And then over here, they're just robbing us blind, and we're keeping us in the slave mentality on the hamster wheel. Keep the electricity going because us on the hamster wheel are allowing us to keep the grid alive. A lot of us are getting off the hamster wheel because of things like 9/11 are opening our eyes to where our government sits in the best interest of ourselves. And I know that for a fact, they just want us to put money in their pockets. They've been saying that for the longest time. I mean, without them saying we want your money in our pockets to buy our own stuff, look at the laws they're passing. Right after 9/11, the Patriot Act 1 and 2, basically saying that no matter what, we're going to be in your business. We're going to be in your bank accounts. We're going to be in your phone calls. We're going to be on your YouTube lives. We're going to monitor everything you say and everything you do. God bless the NSA. But realistically, you look back at 9/11 and how the 2.34 million or trillion dollars was gone. They stole that from us. They wanted to start a war in Afghanistan to occupy the poppy seeds and get Gilgamesh. They wanted to find Gilgamesh. They couldn't find him. Um, thank God it was somebody else who found him, but that's a horse of a different color. But they wanted that. They wanted that DNA for some reason because they wanted to make super soldiers, I think. Um, but uh, when you look at natural physics and free fall speed, you look at the way that I think it's 2,400 degrees Fahrenheit that you can melt steel, and jet fuel only burns at like 1,300, not even, or 1,200. And you're saying that jet fuel in two planes caused two buildings to fall at free fall speed like a controlled demolition. You expect us to believe. Now, the sheeple who are just blind and keep walking the pin and, walk right up to the slaughter, that I can't, you can't bring a horse to the trough and make him drink. You know what I'm saying? You can't make the sheeple take the blinders off and see that there's an open field. There's one little fence in front of you. You got the blinders on. You can't see around the fence, but you just see that there's a fence there, so you're trapped. When you get yourself out of the bullshit and you take the blinders off, you see that you can step around that fence that was simply just in front of your face, and you see that it's a big open field. So you take that opportunity um to walk that field, if you will. So that's my analogy of basically getting out of the mentality of do as you're told and step in line and walk the line, toe the line, get on your hamster wheel, do your 9 to 5 and your 40 hours and your 401ks. I can't wait to start my business in order to um, facilitate the needs of my family, but also to um, facilitate the needs of others, because I want to put this business on the backbone of what our country was founded on. Um, that let everybody come, let everybody of every stature, man, woman, or child, be a part of this nation. So I want to call on, um, people to do the same. Um, it's easy to sit back and say that this is what you're going to do and do it. It's a different thing. So, um, my basis on why 9/11 was an inside job was the $2.34 trillion, the excuse me, the jet fuel burning, and free fall demolition speed of the two collapsing buildings. Um, the evidence alone of it being a controlled demolition, and when you look at thermite and how thermite burns, there was thermite burns all over the structures at the bottom. And again, the 9/11 Commission report um, doesn't say thermite, but it says extenuated damage and marks of burns or something, and they want to chalk that up to uh, the 12 or 1,300 degree Fahrenheit jet fuel burn. So, you don't have to take my word for it. You can look up, I mean, it's Freedom of Information Act now. 9/11 started the, Patriot Act 1 and 2, which basically gave up our rights for privacy and basically started the warrantless arrests. We basically say, how much safer can I be? Let's give away more rights in order to be safe. Like that to me doesn't make any sense. Um, but always remember the Second Amendment, because that's our tried and true. Nobody can infringe on our rights. This is just a, a foreshadowing of what was to be expected. Now you look at basically 20 years later, in 2021, you got 20 years of 9/11, and you got all these things coming out, and they're basically perpetuating the same ideology of like terrorism and stuff like that. When some of it did bring us together, but then you start asking questions and you bring the division back into it. And for 20 plus years, and in my lifetime, never mind the Gulf of Tonkin incident for the Vietnam War for my parents' generation, and my uncles and my uncle's brothers going over there, um, and fighting. And my dad was in college on a college scholarship, so I don't know even if he was drafted, if because he was already in college and had a college scholarship and he was playing tennis for that college. Like, I don't know if that superseded his, like, he didn't have to go. But I mean, I never really asked him that, but I knew my uncle went, his brother went, and then my aunt's husband and his brothers went, and they had some pretty horrendous stories to come back to, and they all didn't make it, and because they seen some stuff, all for the all for a false flag operation of the Gulf of Tonkin, saying that they were terrorism on a submarine ship. And then it's Vietnam people, and all we wanted was the heroin. We wanted the heroin over there, and that was starting then. And in my lifetime, from 81 till now, 1981 until now, I've seen some pretty horrendous things. Um, I've seen the Oklahoma City bombing. I've seen the uh, Boston Marathon bombing. Um, I've seen Waco, Texas. I've seen 9/11. I've seen, the Gulf War. I've seen both Gulf Wars. I've seen a pretty tremendous amount of things. But in retrospect, when you think back on if they've lied, and you've had people who came out and said they've lied, what else are they lying about? So then you dig deeper in the rabbit hole. So this was just a chance for me to get on here to see, if I could get any views. I'm not really friends with a lot of people on here, but um, thanks to my buddy John for helping me out with some premium stuff. He and I have been friends for a great number of years. He's a great friend. So thank you for that, buddy. Um, but yeah, this is just me trying out YouTube Live and seeing how it goes and what I could do for next time. But this was my live on 9/11 being an inside job. I could go 40 minutes, but again, I go back and forth and I reiterate topics and I go off on loops and tangents. So, like, if I do get time and I can have, TikTok followers follow me on my YouTube, I'll definitely try to put my link in my TikTok now, because I want to start this on a regular basis, because um, I want to start teaching people on how to do promissory notes. I want to teach people how to the Sesta KV trust, and our Social Security bond, as well as any court documents that are out there, how to get people out of certain situations. So, this is Mario signing off. Just wanted to say thank you if you do listen to this while it's posted on my channel. Yeah, and have a wonderful evening.